Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by NightClub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today we are going to discuss probably one of the more expensive meals that one can have over at Magic Kingdom, that is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've done like way too much Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, we definitely need to spread it out to some different parts.
Like we need to go to like Hollywood Studios or something just to like cleanse the palate.
Yeah, we do Epcot and Magic Kingdom a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I have an idea. We'll discuss it later. But getting back to our review for the day, we are going to be discussing Crystal Palace, you guys. And it is apropos that the children are cheering because the children were all over the damn place at this restaurant.
Yes.
Well, you know, I guess it's supposed to be for kids and families and stuff. So I'm not complaining about that. Certainly not yet. But you know what? We'll see how it goes. Amanda, do you have any history on the Crystal Palace?
I do. So this is a Walt Disney World opening day restaurant. So it did open same day as the rest of Magic Kingdom. This is modeled after a couple of different places. Actually, like 4 different places. But
that seems excessive.
Well, I say that, but okay. Let me start from the beginning. All right. So the first place that this is modeled after is the Crystal Palace that was in London. This was a glass and iron. I mean, it apparently exclusively only glass and iron. That's the only materials used to make it. It was an exhibition hall. It housed the Great Exhibition of 1851. This was commissioned by Prince Albert to honor his wife, Queen Victoria. That Crystal Palace...
I'm sorry, I need to stop you for just 1 second. You're telling me that a restaurant called the Crystal Palace, and it was built by royalty? Did I hear that correctly?
You did? Well, it was commissioned by royalty.
Come on. The financier of it. That's what I'm going for here.
Yes.
It had royal backing is what I'm getting at.
It did have royal backing. Yes.
Okay. And they can just like take money from anybody, basically, and just like appropriate it for shit. Because that seems to be what kings and queens do. Right?
Sure.
And you're telling me that the building materials for this place were only iron and glass, not even crystal?
Iron and glass. According to a source that I found, it was, let's see if this tells me. I saw one that gave me like exactly like how much glass. And it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of glass.
No shit.
But yes.
It was absolutely a lot of glass. Duh.
Well, considering that the main body of that building was
iron,
1,848 feet long and 408 feet wide, and the height at the tallest point was like 108 feet. Yeah, it was a big building. But again, it was an exhibition hall, and it did house the Great Exhibition of 1851. Which that exhibition kind of influenced other exhibitions, including the one that occurred a few years later in New York.
Okay.
So that was kind of the bouncing off point. All right. So it was inspired. That was the first building it was inspired by. Okay. That building also inspired several other buildings that also inspired the restaurant that we ate at. So the Crystal Palace in London, that's building number 1. This is also this was also inspired by the Palm House at Kew Gardens, which was when it was built in 1848 was the largest greenhouse at the time. It was founded, Kew Gardens was founded by a botanist named Joseph Banks who traveled with Captain Cook. Yes, the Captain Cook, who has a restaurant named after him at the Polynesian Resort.
Man, that was a long way to go for a Polynesian quick service restaurant reference. Jesus. Okay.
But yeah, so this botanist that started Kew Gardens traveled with him, sent seeds back to England, opened the Palm House, the greenhouse at Kew Gardens, also designed after the Crystal Palace in London.
Uh-huh.
The third building that inspired the restaurant was the Conservatory of Flowers in San Francisco. Guess what? It was also inspired by the Crystal Palace in London. And then finally, this was also inspired by the Crystal Palace in New York.
Okay.
Which, you want to know something? That was also inspired by the Crystal Palace in London.
Oh, God, my brain hurts now.
So basically, 4 different places, technically all inspired by one place. Inspired the Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom. It's a little confusing, I know. But the architecture is actually really cool because if you look at the rest of Main Street USA, it's very Victorian in architecture, while the Crystal Palace is kind of getting away from that Victorian architecture. It's going into more of the British and French colonial architecture, which leads you right into Adventureland. So the Imagineers knew what they were doing. That Crystal Palace is that transition piece between Main Street and Adventureland, architecture-wise. So there's that. When the restaurant first opened, it was a cafeteria-style restaurant. That changed in 1996 when it became the buffet and character dining, and it has always been, ever since character dining started in 96, it's always been Winnie the Pooh characters. So there you go. That brings us to today.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay. Got more information about other Crystal Palaces than we really got on this Crystal Palace. But, you know, I feel like that's not a you problem. That's an internet problem.
Right. No, that's everything I found was based off of these other places. I found pictures of the other places that I will post to our Instagram, because if you look at the other places, yes, they definitely inspired Main Street's Crystal Palace.
Okay, well there we go, guys. So look, around 2 months ago-ish, sometime in May, we all did the Nodcast, or at least I did the Nodcast. Amanda only does that when, you know, I need a bullpen closer or something like that. Right. I stated unequivocally on that episode of the Nodcast that the real answer to which character dining you should do is none. And I stand by my statement. I absolutely do. I'm not changing my opinion on this. Character dinings in general are, for me, horrifying. They are a group of overly excited people to see furries. That's what they are to me. Okay. And it's because I don't have a kid, right?
Right.
You have seen me do at least 2 character dining experience. 3, I think.
Both have been extremely awkward.
One of them was a Me Too thing. The other one was just it was on our wedding. We were at Ohana, and it was for breakfast. And I don't really like Disney breakfast anyway, but I'm doing the Disney breakfast thing because
I wanted Ohana.
It. Yeah, and whatever. It's so we go, we eat, and then we're accosted by, the characters, and, that yeah, just the most awkward photo I've ever taken. Just, I literally look like a father who will not say that he's proud of his son in that photo. It's the only way I can describe it. Like, you get a firm handshake and a nod. I'm not going to say I'm proud of you, but you get the nod and the firm handshake. That's what it looked like. That was for Pluto. If I had taken a picture with Stitch, it would have been me punching that mascot in the face.
No, because I wouldn't have let you.
Listen, he ruined Tomorrowland, as far as I'm concerned. Unforgivable.
He didn't do it. The Imagineers.
Yeah, okay. He's the embodiment of those Imagineers. And therefore, yes, I'm going to punch him in the face. I will. That'll be like one of the last episodes of the podcast. I feel like it's me getting kicked out and having getting my lifelong ban. Right?
Oh my God.
Then we could do other podcasts about other stuff. I'm just saying,
Technically, we can do a podcast about other stuff.
Yeah, I know we can, but we record a lot as it is.
You record a lot as it is.
Back to Crystal Palace. God, that was a tangent. Look, because I don't have a kid, this is never going to be on my radar for places to eat at. But we dined with my cousin and their cousins and my aunt and uncle, and that meant a kid was in tow.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's changing the equation just a little bit. Because holy crap, the little child was wearing a Tigger outfit.
Yeah.
Okay. And like the character Tigger, the mascot, the furry Tigger, was just enthralled that there was a baby dressed up as Tigger. Because he never sees Tigger kids.
Yeah. Apparently. The character attendant said they never get, everybody dresses up like Winnie the Pooh and everything. Nobody dresses up like Tigger. So Tigger postponed his break. He was supposed to go, before he came to our table, he was supposed to go eat some birthday cake, is what we were told. So to take his break, and then he was going to come to our table, but then he saw baby Ryan dressed like Tigger.
Or she, or they. I don't know. What the hell's under there?
Okay, but Tigger is a boy. So.
Are we sure about that?
Everything that I have ever known has told me that Tigger is a boy. So Tigger postponed his break and had to come over. I will throw something at you. I know that we are in 2 different rooms right now, but don't think I won't get up and go in there and throw something at you.
Fair enough. We've seen it before.
Anyway, Tigger postponed his birthday cake to come over and see baby Ryan.
And look, the joy that we saw on that kid's eyes when he met the various characters was just precious. And yes, absolutely, I'm looking through baby colored lenses on this. I don't know what baby color is.
Is that pink or blue? What?
I don't know. So it's some sort of pastel. Anyway,
yeah.
I really do feel like that's the only time. I think you can do it once or twice, and yeah, it's not worth the food. I'll just go ahead and be honest with you. It's standard breakfast fare. The eggs seemed a little bit better this time around than they have in the past. But the bacon is still faking to me. I didn't dare touch the patty sausage. It looked like that cafeteria sausage, and I'm like,
yeah.
No. The links were okay, I guess. I kind of went Atkinsy on this go around. I guess I don't know. And then you had some of the sweeter stuff.
Yeah, of course I did, because that's me. I mean, like I did like fruit and stuff like that, and I did the standard, Mickey waffle. But they also have I don't think it's called a churro Mickey waffle, but it's a churro Mickey waffle. Like that's kind of
okay.
That's what everybody was kind of referring to it as. And so they had like your standard plain Mickey waffle, and then they had this like churro-esque Mickey waffle. I tried both. I obviously did both. I
obviously,
while the churro one is good, I still prefer just the basic plain Mickey waffle. Don't mess. It's a good thing. Don't mess with a good thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I mean, I feel like it's broke, but that's because I'm a little different. Like, all right, so we had a Mickey waffle iron back in the day. In fact, I think they still do. My parents do.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like this little itty bitty hockey puck.
Yeah.
Size.
It's the Mickey bigger. Waffle. Yeah.
It's the big ass waffle. It's a standard waffle, and that's kind of what I don't know. That's what I'm expecting out of my Mickey waffles as a result.
Yeah.
And so every time I see the little one, I'm like,
I feel like they used to have the bigger ones at Disney World.
They may very well have back when, it was affordable and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way back in the yesteryear, the long, long ago.
Back in the 1900s.
Stop saying stuff like that. Really don't like you saying stuff like that.
But you're over here with yesteryear. Oh, look, there's.
So, your dining experience is going to be measured by how much you can tolerate a Disney buffet. Mm-hmm. Is really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Or any buffets in general. You would think that someone like me would love buffets, given my stature and everything, and the answer is no. I hate them. Ugh, there's just like too much. Ugh. Not a fan. So like from a dining perspective, actually it ended up being like it wasn't the worst experience in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that I think having Ryan there colored the experience a little bit more positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I think I get it a little more. And maybe this is me just discovering, family. It's weird, but yeah, it absolutely like changed the experience and enough that it was positive and worth the money, I think.
Yeah.
Under that circumstance, especially because like if you want to do the whole character thing, having them come to you is a lot easier than you having to wait in line and all that. So
now Disney,
I've opined on Crystal Palace, the experience. What about you?
Well, I was gonna give like just some like basic information for those that maybe are interested and not, haven't eaten here. Disney on their website does say to allow for 90 minutes in order to see all the characters. So you've got 4 characters. You've got Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet. So it takes about 90 minutes for them to rotate.
However,
so there's that.
However, the servers do not allow you to stay that full 90 minutes. I would say be prepared. It's not that they're going to kick you out or something like that. They just continuously bug you until you're like, okay, we get it. We'll leave now.
I mean, I didn't get that feeling, but
I mean, I did a little. And part of it, look, Ryan is a baby. He needed to be changed. And so, that caused a little bit of a panic amongst everyone that was at breakfast that morning. Mm-hmm. So, that might have also facilitated the rushing of things. But it feels like we did kind of bail pretty quickly, and we could have stayed a little longer but it would have been the guy coming back and saying, "Do you need another Diet Coke? You need some more orange juice? Oh wait, no, you'd have to pay for more orange juice. Never mind. What about some water? Like just trying to like bug you to death to get you to turn the table over."
Well, I didn't get that feeling from the server again, but Ryan needing to be changed obviously did. We did have to leave. We left before we saw poo. So there is that.
And,
but
like, they went back.
Yeah.
I guess. And
price wise for adults, this experience is $48 plus tax and gratuity. And for children ages 3 to 9, it is $30 plus tax and gratuity. So there's your price point.
It's
again.
God, just
I don't think the food is worth the price.
Oh God, no. No. I don't think that right now the way they do the last few experiences that we've had at Disney restaurants.
Like, yeah,
I don't think any food there, with the exception of you know what? Not even the spring rolls that we've gone back for like 3 times. Like they're delicious. Don't get me wrong. And because of supply and demand, I understand why they're charging as much as they are. But at the same time, no. If this was out in the wild, not like contained within a theme park, no, absolutely not. That shit would be worth like $12 at most.
Well, I mean, I think how much are they? Is it what, like $9 for 2 of them?
What?
The spring rolls.
Oh, 10. Something like that.
Somewhere around there.
No, I'm talking about Crystal Palace. I'm talking about all these Disney restaurants. Like they don't have the food or the chef's, like they have the chef skills to keep up with the crowd, which is important. Make no mistake. Okay. But they're more focused on making sure that they get everybody's order out to them instead of if they enjoy it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be my impression anyway.
There's not a full list of what they offer for breakfast anyway on Disney's website. There's a partial listing of the offerings.
We'll give them some highlights.
But, you've got fruit, you've got the Mickey waffles, you've got bacon, eggs, yogurt, biscuits and gravy, and other assorted pastries. I think if I remember correctly, there was like quiche, I believe. There's a couple of different kinds of quiche.
Yeah, I remember quiche as well.
Yeah. I had like the plain just like egg and cheese, and it was decent. They had a couple of other types of quiche as well. There really wasn't much more than what it says on the menu. There wasn't a huge selection of food.
I feel like they maybe had like some sort of not festival, like item, but like some sort of like seasonal.
Yeah, they have seasonal stuff. Again, it's not a huge selection.
No, it's not.
So
but it gets you the protein that you need, and I guess that's kind of all they're going for.
Yeah.
It's look, if you have to eat breakfast on property, I think you can do better.
Yeah.
But if you got to eat inside Magic Kingdom, or you're trying to like snag a breakfast reservation to get into the park early or something along those lines, you could do worse. Trust me, you can do worse. I've been to worse. We've done worse.
Yeah. Yep, we have. But again, being there and seeing it with a kid, especially like a baby, I think that, like you said, that kind of changes a little bit of the perspective and all, and probably will influence my rating a little bit.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of the rating, let's go ahead and knock that sumbitch out. Amanda.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 5 crystals, how many palaces are you giving this restaurant?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Wow, that is way inflated.
again, I told you the experience with Ryan definitely. If I was going strictly off of food, this would be like a 2.5. But the character interaction, the fact that first of all, you and I were not originally on the reservation, and yet they still managed to squeeze us in. That was, that was awesome. The fact that we didn't get to see Pooh Bear while we were eating, but we were able to go back in and have that moment with
in front of the fountain.
In front of the fountain, with Pooh Bear again, and Tigger again. Tigger saw Ryan again and had to come back over. Seeing the characters and that interaction between Ryan and the characters, that definitely inflated my, definitely influenced my rating here. Because it was, in that aspect, it was a really good experience, I think.
Absolutely. I concur. So I'm going to give this 2 different ratings because I am what I am, and I you know what? I make the rules. So I'm going to allow it. I'm going to go ahead and give you the cynical review. Mm-hmm. The cynical review is run for the hills. Don't come here. It's not worth the money. Mm-hmm. And then that family ties one. All right, 5.
Aww.
All right. They got me this one time. They did. And you know what? I guess this whole kids thing changes things and all that stuff. I've obviously been really focused on my reviews for just the 2 of us, but if I'm going to, rate the experience and everything like that, now I've got to include all the other people that were with us. Mm-hmm. And they weren't all adults like they have been with almost every other experience.
Right.
So yeah, the kids got to play a pretty big factor into that, and I'm gonna give it a 5 for that.
Yeah,
I am. Now, if Ryan was 3, I think that might be like the last time that I'm like, "Aw."
Yeah.
Because outside of that, like, I'm gonna look at my. Let's be honest. I'm gonna look at our kid and just go, you realize that's just a dude in a fucking furry costume, right?
I will not let you ruin the magic for our children.
I'm pretty sure that our kids are going to be smart enough to figure it out on their own.
Look, that's fine. I knew my first trip that, it wasn't actually the real character. Still, we're not ruining the magic.
Well, I would hope so, Amanda. You were 9, okay? Like, I'd like our kid to be smart enough to figure shit out like that out when they're 4. That's all I'm saying. It's a bar.
But you can still have that knowledge and it still be a magical experience.
I guess. It feels like, hopefully they're over it by then. Anyway.
I am hoping that our children are not as cynical as you.
Fair enough. I understand. And you know what? They will be. They'll be worse.
No.
Because they're going to get the worst part of me. So, they're going to be worse than me. Oof. Just imagine a baton being passed from father to child. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. All right. Speaking of babies. We have a new baby at the Disney parks, y'all.
We do.
Wait, what? There we go. Okay. About to say. Where are you kids on, like, what? Killing me.
Yes.
So it appears that we have 4 new Hartman Mountain zebras that were born over at Animal Kingdom. Like, they weren't born on safari. I'm assuming that they were, born in the clinic that's back behind there.
Yeah.
Maybe at Rafiki's Planet Watch. Maybe that's where.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a reason to go, by the way.
Yeah. I want to see the babies.
I'm sure they'll be on season 3 of that Animal Kingdom show that's on Disney Plus that only produces content sporadically.
Probably. I want to see the babies. It says the youngest was born on July 16th. So today we are recording this July 25th. So very, very recently.
Only what, not
9 days ago. 9 days old. So he's not out yet. That one's a boy, and he's not out yet.
But already walking. Got to give him credit. Like they were just like hit the ground and boom, they were up and about. So at least that's why I understand all of those things are because of a quote from Star Trek. It's weird.
2 of them were born on July 8th, a female and a male. Apparently that male was standing hours after birth. And we now have 3 generations of Hartman's mountain zebras at Animal Kingdom because that male who was born on July 8th, his mom, Asha, was also born at Animal Kingdom.
Oh.
And her mom is also still at the park. So we do have 3 generations of these zebras at Animal Kingdom.
And that means that we don't have to go back to Africa and grab one of them suckers out of the woods or whatever off the Serengeti or I don't know much about Africa. Who am I kidding? Educated in the American school system. Sorry.
Also, and then the oldest that was born this summer was born June 13th. And apparently weighed nearly 100 pounds shortly after birth.
Yeah, and all you women out there are worried about
don't even
9. Not even a tenth of it.
Also, that one's name is Penne, and I love that.
As in pasta?
At least that's how it's spelled, so that's how I'm pronouncing it.
Okay. I suppose you kind of run out of ebony and ivory, references.
Oh my god.
What? I would definitely make one of their names Oats. What?
I can't with you.
Is it okay? Is that because they eat oats, so you don't want them named after their food?
I mean, I think they eat grass, so
I don't know.
Again,
I was educated in the American school system, so I have no idea what zebras eat.
Looking at the pictures, they're eating grass, so.
Okay. Well, glad to hear that. So the whole point of this podcast, I would say, is it's not to shine a negative light on Disney, but it is to provide you with the most real experience that we have in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, my experiences, especially of late, have not been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you say?
I would say that about your experiences, yes.
Yeah, just various issues here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It gets annoying after a while. It does. And we are fortunate enough being locals that we get to go to the parks as often as we do. And those of you who come down on vacation, obviously your mileage is going to vary to a degree. But if you are park goers like you and I are, meaning that you've gone, once or twice a year since you were, a kid and stuff like that, you've been to the parks all the time, you know what you're doing and everything like that, you're going to notice a lot of the same things that we notice. And I think that you're going to have some of the similar experiences.
Yeah.
Which means that you are probably going to have some complaints here and there. And it appears that Disney is trying to make amends, or at least that's what the Dallas Morning News is trying to allege here. And in this article, they kind of interviewed a variety of different people and at various times of year. It sounds like they also talked to Len Testa, who I guess now that, Genie Plus kind of stole his business model, he's just like an author now.
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell is buying touring plans if unless they're going to do Genie Plus for you?
Yeah.
Never mind. It doesn't matter anyway, because it's gone now. So unless they're going to do Lightning Lane multi-pass, blah, 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 blah. I fell asleep halfway through.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't have a business model outside of just being a Disney expert. I guess. So
yeah.
Anyway, he's also in this article, and he kind of points out, look, it's gotten expensive for everybody to go. Florida resident deals right now are going on for I think as low as $59 a ticket, and you have to buy it for 3 days, and you can't use it at Magic Kingdom. You can only use it at Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. They're also offering that same sort of deal to the general public, but for $79.
89.
89, excuse me. My apologies. Which honestly, when I've seen some of the prices for single day tickets, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like February, it was $165 a day.
They said the high for a 1 day park hopper ticket, and it doesn't say when this high was, but it did say that a 1 day park hopper ticket did hit a high of $254.
Okay,
I'm going to assume that's a Magic Kingdom ticket. Well, it's a park hopper, so but still $254
if you are buying park hopper. If you are buying a 1 day park hopper, you're a fucking crazy person. And we have crazy people on this podcast because we've bought a 1 day park hopper before.
I don't think we paid $254.
No, it's like $150. It tells you how long ago it was that we did that. But there's that is at least somewhat of a significant drop in ticket prices. Yeah. But obviously you can't go to Magic Kingdom. You have to pay full price for a ticket to Magic Kingdom. And I guess that means that Magic Kingdom is not hurting for attendance, but every other park is. And
that doesn't shock me.
That tracks.
That doesn't shock me because most people who come down, if they only have 1 day to go to Disney, they're going to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. So. Most likely. Except for us. We went to Epcot.
Right. But we've also, done this a lot. My favorite part is the resorts and the fact that the All-Stars have finally come down to, what they needed to be all along.
Well, okay. So they did quote in this article that the prices had dropped to roughly $100 a night sometime in January or February next year. And that they were still, roughly the cheaper rates and everything were still in the 170s or 80s, but you could still find them for $200-$300 a night in under some circumstances, which that's just unconscionable.
For an All-Star, no. Do not. If you're going to spend $200 to $300 per night,
stay off property.
Go to one of the Hotel Plaza Boulevard resorts because you get a lot of the same perks, much nicer resorts than the All-Stars. Please do not spend that much money at an All-Star resort. Please.
Only go to the All-Stars if you have a cheerleading competition that you're
or other sports. Cheerleading competition.
Specifically, those of you who are going to annoy the bejesus out of every other park guest that you interact with that day. And by interact with, I mean just pass by. Why are they like that? Like, I get that they're peppy and that's the whole their vibe and all of that, but as peppy as they are, I am not. I'm the inverse of pep. It's almost like I need a rally of some kind. It's been a while since I've had one of those. Yes, and of course other athletes and stuff too. But also you have to annoy the bejesus out of everyone. And parents, you have to get drunk at Epcot.
And dear God, stupid fountain sitting people. Stop sitting in the fountain in France. Stop putting your kids in the fountain at France. Stop trying to get into the water anywhere on property. Just stop it.
Unless it's a pool.
Right. Only get in the water in pools. Don't get in the lakes. Don't get in the fountains.
Don't get in the stream that's inside of Wilderness Lodge.
Right, because that's not a pool.
It looks like fun though. If we could, I mean,
it does look like fun, but it's not a pool. Don't get in it.
I mean, it looked like a rock slide that like I could have put a trash bag on me and like slid down.
Like the rock slide at Big Canoe?
Yes. Just trying not to be so specific, but whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so they are trying in some circumstances, but it feels like to me these are kind of empty gestures that they can point to and say, hey, we tried to lower ticket prices, but you guys didn't take them. Or, hey, we tried to lower our rates over in January, but you guys didn't take them. And we're going to be over here like, but you lowered the rates at the All-Stars.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to the All-Stars.
The worst of the resorts.
Right. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
We still should. For this podcast, we have to. At some point, we're going to have to stay at these things.
I'm dreading that one.
I am so dreading
that needs to be like a one night thing because I don't think I can do it more than one night.
No, we're not.
That's a one night thing, no, and then then I need to go to like Old Key West.
Maybe we should ask the audience. Let's ask the audience. You comment below if you're watching us on YouTube, or come at us on social media. Hey, we're on social media. Where are we at on social media, Amanda?
We are on. Are we doing this now?
Just go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney, and everywhere else at Cynics on Disney.
There you go. Find us on social media and let us know. If we just go around and walk the grounds of the resort without actually having to get in the bed and sleep the night like a haunted house because I'm scared, does that count? Because I am not, I am Shaggy and Scooby brave. I am not Fred and Velma and Daphne brave.
Got away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Well, that's what Disney's doing, right? It's the perfect metaphor.
Property. It's not even their property.
I know, and it's going to drive them crazy that they don't. Somehow they'd fit that in over at All-Star Movies. I'm certain of it. Even though
they would.
Scooby did have a couple of live action movies there. I forgot about those.
Oh, that's right.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Freddie Prinze Jr. had blonde hair. He dyed his hair blonde for that. He looked like shit.
That was not a good look on him.
It was not a good look. God, remember in the 2000s when all us white kids were dyeing our hair blonde?
Particularly the boys, yes.
Yeah, just jeez.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. So I don't know. I'm very distrustful of this. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm also distrustful because again, they lowered the rates at the worst resorts.
Sure.
Like why? The fact that on the fourth quarter earnings call from last year, Iger was like, "Oh, guest experience ratings are improving."
They've been declining steadily per this article for years. In fact, since 2021, the number of Yelp reviews that have
I saw that
multiple like 5-star ratings and everything like that. It once occupied like 52% of the ratings on Yelp. Now it's like
as of 2022, it was 33%.
That's a huge shift.
And they said last year more than 40% of Yelp reviewers gave the parks 1 or 2-star reviews.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that Yelp is some sort of scientific poll that we can, run statistical analysis on it.
Yeah.
But just based on that alone, because I'm certain there's so many pixie dusters in there giving like 5-star fluff reviews too.
Yeah.
Like I'm so certain that 40% number is accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no doubts that that's an accurate number.
Barely half of your guests are satisfied, and they are spending how many thousands of dollars to travel here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that drives me absolutely crazy. And I'm hoping that the woman that was let go a few weeks ago, that was the head of Imagineering.
Mm-hmm.
She apparently, Steve brought this up, I think, on one of the more recent Notcasts, that she used to work for one of the big resort companies out there, like Hilton or something like that. And so that's why we've been getting a lot more renovations that are bland for Disney taste.
But they're exactly what you would find at a Hilton.
Yeah.
Or a Marriott.
And that kind of tracks to a degree. Like, this gets back into that long-winded gas bag episode that we did, or I did, and you chimed in every now and then. Sure. About like theming and stuff like that. Like, I don't think Disney recognizes that there is a difference between theming and slapping characters on stuff.
They don't.
And that's disappointing. It really is.
If you look at the older resorts, even though they've also kind of gotten away because now we're just slapping characters on everything. But the older resorts each had a very specific theme, and they kept to that theme without slapping characters on it. They kept to that theme. Now we're seeing like oh god, this new tower over at the Polynesian. I'm dreading what that's gonna look like when it's done.
It's gonna be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. You know why? Because at the end of the day, here, Pat's gonna eat it up. He's gonna love every second of it because it's more rooms at his beloved Polynesian. And you know what? The tower rooms that are facing the lake, and you get a castle view. It's going to be a really cool view for you to get fireworks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's going to be but we also got a really cool view when your parents stayed at the Polynesian and had.
But they don't have the same sightlines, and so that's kind of the difference. Yeah, and I'm trying to give this whole thing, like, I'm trying to give the new tower a minute. Like, let it at least be finished from a construction standpoint before I go whole hog into it, which is weird. I don't like it.
I'm bitter about this tower. I'm bitter about the bungalows, and I'm bitter about the tower.
So that kind of makes me conflicted because, I hate the Polynesian. So, like, if it fucks up the Polynesian, then I should like it.
See, I love the Polynesian. That's why
it's kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. So yeah, maybe that's why I'm holding off on being judgmental. But look, I honestly though, like, the best themed resort, I still think on property is Wilderness Lodge.
Oh yeah,
and
beautifully themed.
Not a character in sight.
And Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yes, not a character in sight.
Unless you count the animals that are on this savannah.
Okay. And you know what? And you can count some of the wallpaper. I think it has like Simba or the painting of Simba.
Yeah. But it's very
whatever. But it's subtle.
It's very subtle. It's subtle, and it's not like it's Simba, like the painting that Rafiki does of Simba. It's not like Simba himself.
Right. If it had been the cartoon Simba, or even the live action Simba.
Yeah, exactly. I nope. I refuse to see that one.
I mean, okay. I don't blame. I've refused to watch all these things. So, but it would ruin it over an Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I can't even think of a character that they could slap on over at Wilderness Lodge that ruin it. But I'm sure that they just take one of the Fab Five and like put them in a camel.
I mean, they do have a little bit like that totem pole that's outside in the lobby outside the gift shop. that's the extent of, I think,
yeah,
characters at that resort.
Barely anything on there. You don't even notice it unless you're looking for it.
Right.
And generally speaking, I had forgotten about it, to be honest with you. So I'm not even arguing for any of that. But that's where they need to put their focus to, is getting back
stuff
to that kind of stuff. Yes, of course, drop your prices because this is ridiculous.
And not just on the ones that were already cheap and arguably the worst.
Right. I get that you want to make extra money. Okay. You can build things that add value to a resort, like different rooms and stuff like that you can charge a little bit more for, but you got to lower that base price a little bit more so that more people can experience it and then want to try the incredible suite or whatever it is, because that's how you hook people. It's oh, well, it's not that much more. If you're paying like the Contemporary, it's like $900 a night sometimes for one of the A-frame rooms.
Yeah.
And if you stuck me in one of those incredible suites, I would be super disappointed. I would be pissed.
I remember when Port Orleans over at Riverside did like the pirate rooms.
Yeah.
But they only did like a few of them, and you had to specifically request it if you wanted it. Like if you didn't want the pirate room, you weren't getting the pirate room. Like you didn't run that risk.
Right. And
that's how that needs to be done.
And you paid premium for it, by the way.
Right.
You paid extra.
I was saying, yeah, you paid extra and you had to request it. Like you had to specifically say, I want this room with the pirate ship.
Yarg. I think if you threw the yarg in there, your chances were higher. That's probably why I threw it in there. No, but you're absolutely right. And this is the exact kind of thing that they could do, especially over at one of the All-Stars or at Pop Century or something along those lines. Art of Animation already does it with the family suites that are more expensive than a room over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but they fill a niche. And that's kind of where I think the company should take the direction. And then we don't need the Hilton, but we also don't need the characters. So why not just go back to trying to build a resort that evokes a certain location? I think that's the way to go. Yeah. There's plenty of options out there for people to really try to like a Greek resort. I think would be something.
Well, if you look at like some of the resorts that were planned but didn't get built over at the Magic Kingdom area.
I think it was called the Venetian.
Yeah, they had a Venetian one over there.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I would like to see. And I just here's to hoping. One of the other things that they brought up in this article, and this is how we're going to end it, Amanda, is that they've since changed the Fast Pass system back to Fast Pass Plus, but called it something different and made you pay for it. And that, of course, would be Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. And then they did keep the additionally paid option for the more popular rides, called Lightning Lane Single Pass. Now, this system is different than Genie Plus. So all of the research and all of the effort and all the TikTok videos that you watch to learn how to master Genie Plus,
they no longer work.
Here's to hoping that some of us old timers that only use Instagram,
or remember Fast Pass Plus can remember how to do this.
Yeah. That's what I'm banking is that the young whippersnappers who use TikTok, they have no idea how to navigate the Fast Pass Plus system. All right. Here's the thing. I think we need to try this.
Okay.
I think we need to give a report on it and see if it were, because we were veterans and we did use Fast Pass Plus. I think we should compare the two systems. It debuted, if I'm not mistaken, today or yesterday. And I've not really done a deep dive on what the initial reports are because I do kind of want to try it ourselves. So
yesterday is when it.
Yesterday, that would be the 24th since we're recording on the 25th. So with that in mind, I think that we should try it. And I think if we're going to get the most value out of something like that, I think we should do it over at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, that would probably be. And now that Rock and Roller Coaster is back open.
Yeah. And that gives you the opportunity to snag a couple for, some of the Toy Story stuff.
Yeah.
Snag a couple for, possibly at least one for Millennium Falcon. I'm not sure if Rise of the Resistance is still under the paid one or not, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so I think that's what we should do. What say you?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so hopefully the next show will be a review of the Lightning Lane system, and we'll see what's what with it. So, hey, I know we said this like 10 minutes ago, but we might as well reiterate it. Where are we on social media, Amanda?
All right, so again, you can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. You can find us everywhere else. So that is Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest. I think that's everything. Find us in those places at Cynics on Disney.
And of course, this podcast is brought to you by NotClub33.com. Make sure that you check out NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates. And that is going to include things like, me and Pat's hopefully once a month show, roughly, that we're going to call Apocalypse Now, where we talk about the various IPs that are out there in the Disney zeitgeist. And of course, we got to include the Notcast because we're starting to pepper it back in, y'all. We've got a couple of new episodes in the can, so hopefully that gets us past the D23 season, and hopefully we're going to be doing something for D23 as well. More updates to come on that. So make sure that you are checking out NotClub33.com for all of those updates, you guys. And while you are doing all this work, make sure that you are liking this video, subscribe to this here channel, and subscribed, rated, and reviewed this your podcast on any of the various podcast platforms that you might be listening to us on, whether that is Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure that you leave us a line and a nice rating and everything like that, as well as subscribe. Doing so helps get us out into the algorithm a lot better, and thus makes us vastly more visible to other listeners and more viewers. And you know what? I really don't want to expose myself in any other way, especially now that we're doing video. So, guys, thank you so much again for listening. We genuinely appreciate it. And we will look forward to seeing you guys again next time. Until then, have yourselves a magical fucking day.